Well, good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining us. Today we have two critical issues to discuss, and it's about concerns being raised by key stakeholders within Ghana's electoral space or governance space about the limited registration exercise to be undertaken by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, and then also concerns that the modalities being adopted, now accepted to be used for that registration exercise, are likely going to create a lack of access or going to disenfranchise ultimately some notable persons within our population who have qualified to vote because they are 18 and above, haven't yet been registered. Because for each constituency, the Electoral Commission is designating what it calls its office, its main office, or if you like, its district office in that constituency to be used as the point of registration. I also do know, as well as many of you, that there are many people who could be disenfranchised or not get access to that registration district office because of many other things. Could be transport for the day, could be distance, could be ailment, etc. So the question is, shouldn't we have the Electoral Commission rather increasing its point of registration across the country, or whatever means can be adopted to ensure that we don't create that lack of access? As a result, we have some key personalities to help us do the discussions. I have with me, communicating for the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, our distinguished president, and then also for the ruling party, I have a serial entrepreneur, also a politician, of course young in age, Eric Amwakuchum. Good morning to you. What's your main constituency?
Fantiakwa South.
Fantiakwa South. He used to be with Trubu Amasaman as chair. He's a young, old politician, if I can put that. He's been in the trenches for long. And also next to him is energy consultant, legal practitioner, currently chair for the Political Affairs Committee of Kwame Nkrumah's CPP, reorganized and registered from 1992. Lawyer Kwame Jantwa. He is a distinguished son of Asante. How are you?
I'm very well. Did you call him serial entrepreneur?
No. Yes, a serial entrepreneur. He's a distinguished entrepreneur.
The white business are from
China. Oh no, a businessman. And then also, well, we formerly knew him as a journalist, but now a distinguished politician, member of parliament for Tamale North, the distinguished Alhassan Suhuyini, who has promised me he come here in peace. Good morning.
Ever mischievous.
Hey, Roland.
As I always do, let me say good morning to some couple of friends of mine who have joined us on social media. Let me just make sure that open the tablet that has been supplied to me by Media General so that I get to the site. Please make sure that you share the link. Let us know what you think about today's topic. So, money, need money. I have Amuda Hamidu, who has joined us from the United States of America. William Beche, you've also joined us. We're grateful. Ras Kotoka, Meshak Anan, Ofanetete, and then Al Hassan Camille. You've Disoso has also joined us. Yabua George. Many of you, I know these are just pseudonyms. They are not your real names. Akosia Jigbadi has also joined us. Atoli Hemas. Good morning. Abochi Samuel. Godfred Mensah, Hamza, all of you have joined us. We're grateful. Please share. Solly Evans, you are watching. Please share. Akasokri Joseph, you share. Money Lion of the Born to Defend group. We thank you. We also encourage you to cash out within the period because the short code *439# is available for you. Share. Let us have some good time. Ishola Honorable says, nice intro, Roro, keep it up, I hear you. Now, let's get into the groove. Let's do the introduction of the promo as commissioned by the Electoral Commission and some concerns that will be raised by Martin Amidu that will play later. But first, the promo, and then later we'll call for the Martin Amidu insert. Please, I said Martin Pebu to be more precise. 2023.
Commission is making preparations for voters' registration exercise from 12 September to 2nd October 2023 to enable citizens who have turned 18 years or persons who have not previously registered to visit the EC office in their district and register as a voter ahead of the upcoming district level elections 2023. The registration exercise is in line with the Commission's mandate to compile the register of voters and revise it at such periods as may be determined by law. Every eligible Ghanaian should visit the EC office in their district and present their Ghana card or passport for inclusion in the voters register. Applicants who do not have a Ghana card or passport are required to bring 2 persons who are already registered voters to guarantee their registration. Do not register again if you have lost your voter ID card. Replacement of voter ID cards will start from 3rd October 2023 after the registration exercise. Transfer of votes will also be done from 3rd October to 9th October 2023. It is a criminal offense for a guarantor to guarantee for more than 10 people, non-Ghanaians and persons who are not 18 years of age. Guarantors who violate this provision will be prosecuted. The voters' registration exercise is part of efforts to ensure credible, transparent and peaceful elections in Ghana. Register to vote.
At least about 3 million of our citizens live on less than 24 Ghana cedis a day. Poverty is so high. So it beggars believe that it can come out with a registration process that says that go to the district offices of the EC. Some of them long distances, long. I think one day somebody was showing that one of the distances over 100 kilometers. All right, it's not possible. So perhaps minimum, even if the EC cannot do for all, then the longer ones, perhaps they will start with those ones and bridge.
Okay.
Open more offices for registration in those ones. So something can be done, but it certainly cannot be registration in only the district offices of the EC. So it's good that citizens are engaging. Yes, because Article 45 says that the EC should expand, should have programs to expand the voters register. Right. So Article 45 says that it should register people to vote in an election. So don't do it in a manner that will suppress votes.
Right.
No. This conduct by the EC smacks of voter suppression.
That said, Mr. Makushum, why have you instructed the Electoral Commission as a government to create the registration center to be only one in a district? Why?
Roland, are you seriously asking me that question, that any government can actually instruct the Electoral Commission to set up offices or the modalities that it will take to run a registration exercise? I mean, I don't think that's a very fair question. No government, this MPP government has absolutely no role in the decisions that are taken at the Electoral Commission. I don't think that we need to start this conversation on this route. The Electoral Commission, per our Constitution, is an independent body. It's a body that is mandated to run the affairs of the state when it comes to electoral purposes. Now, for me, I think that sometimes some of these conversations, depending on if you're in government or opposition, creates a certain perception that when you're ruling government, you're in cahoots with the EC, and you become, by default, spokespersons for the Electoral Commission. I'm not here to speak for the Electoral Commission. I don't speak for the Electoral Commission. If there are certain things that needs more clarity, the Electoral Commission itself has a PR directorate and all of that. They can explain those things. But that notwithstanding, I think that we need to be very careful with some of these conversations around elections and making it look like, I mean, there are certain attempts to, I mean, you're using words like voter suppression. And who gives you what was the indication that suggests that if voters are suppressed, it's in yours to the benefit or otherwise of one party or the other? I mean, I find some of these generalizations sometimes a bit banal, if you ask me. The reality on the ground is that the Electoral Commission is mandated to do these things, even on a daily basis. The law that actually sets up the Electoral Commission suggests that at every point in time, if any citizen of this country turns 18 or decides that whatever point it is that they so wish, decides to go on a roll, has the right to do so. It's the same political parties that have kicked against that continuous registration of voters in this country by virtue of some of these, if you like, ridiculous casting of aspersions and creating all sorts of things.
You call them as ridiculous.
It's
casting of aspersions.
We have been
Do you think that is fair?
We have been here before. And sometimes when we have these conversations, if you're not careful, you'd go back and make, if you like, references and come up with examples of things that have happened in the past. And I think that over the period, our electoral processes, even if you look at the reforms that have taken place in this since 1992, at a point where we had opaque ballot boxes and time-printed, the voter cards and everything, to the point where we actually have biometric voter registration. We've come a long way. Yes, if there are certain challenges within the system, by all means, let's fix it. But this whole argument about even people moving from their homesteads to district office, for me, sometimes I really do not understand. This is a limited registration exercise for a district assembly election, right? And so I believe strongly that even with all the things that have been done with the NIA card and the trying to probably find a common ground to see how this can be merged to create like a proper voter identification system, I'm sure that we would get there. But for anybody to suggest that there's a certain instruction
there's no
government, but the thing, how is it going to benefit anyone? Let's say, for instance, we all know in this country that all political parties will have certain strongholds. How does that benefit MPP, for example, if there's voter suppression in our stronghold? It doesn't make any sense politically to anybody. Of course not. So if there are specific issues, for me, I believe that the integrity of the voter roll is more important than anything. It's sacrosanct.
That's what you believe.
That speaks to the sovereignty of every nation. So the persons that will find themselves in that role should by all means be Ghanaians. And so sometimes this whole argument that we need to, I've never even understood this whole concept of, and these are some of the challenges that we are facing, this whole concept of people vouching for others. Right? No proper civilized democracy actually does that you go and stand in a queue and 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 people are coming as one person.
You mean the guarantor system?
The guarantor system. And this person says, Suhuyini can get on the roll because I can vouch for him, but Eric Chum cannot get, or Kwame Jantua cannot get. What kind of system is that? We have gotten to the point where with the advent of technology and the things that is open to us, we can be able to sanitize the role and make sure that persons that find themselves in that particular register are supposed to be there. So, this whole over-politicization of it and creating a certain impression, for me, does not sit well. Let's fix the challenges. Is it a case that we should ensure that the EC has the capacity to do registration and on an ongoing basis like it's best practice everywhere? As a political party, even if we sat here today and say that we want to give that take that into consideration, we would disagree. Because you know what we do? We are saying that even when the EC is doing registration, you have to have political party agents and representation there. So are you going to have politicians or political or operatives or agents sitting in the EC office to make sure that every day that somebody turns 18 and they walk into an EC office, a politician or a political operative should be there? So we have to be minded by some of these things. And these are practical, logistical challenges. And so we can use that. So there's this conversation about the NIA, for example. If you go through a rigorous, stringent means of ensuring that persons who are holding NIA cards as Ghanaians are able to you find a way of transferring them onto a voter roll, so be it. We might have challenges going from, you have certain persons by dint of where they find themselves being probably disadvantaged. But what is the best way to ensure that the integrity of the electoral roll is there, and that the persons who find themselves on the roll are people who are supposed to be there, and they are all going there to to do a civic responsibility to vote for whoever becomes a government in this country. That's what we are talking about. So for me, you can go and sue the Electoral Commission. You can do all of those things. Are they doing anything that is either illegal or is against the Constitution? When they go to court, the court will decide.
So, Hini, if you do a recollection of 2020, it was within COVID. We were told that borders were supposed to be closed. And so, while we say that the independence of the Electoral Commission is assured, we also had actions undertaken by the executive in the name of COVID. Now, that is where the issues have always been around the Electoral Commission, about its intent. The thing is that technology is there. It can be used. It's the intent of the structures of the executive and the other organs of government that have created a mistrust to the point where we even have CODEO, which for its existence for several years has been the mainstay of monitoring elections with great experienced people, raising concerns that the way you're going about the current registration has been the same old issue that will bring mistrust. Is that not the case?
Roland, I, to a very large extent, agree with you, but permit me to start on an unexpected note. I haven't been on live TV for over 40 days now, and this is because I lost my beloved mother on 25th July.
Our condolences.
And thank you. And we had the 3 days funeral. We did 7 days Adwa, and we did the 40 days just restricted to family only last week Friday. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who took time out of their busy schedules to mourn with the family. My special gratitude goes to the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and family, especially his brother and wife, Ibrahim Mahama and Mrs. Lordina Mahama. I also thank the leadership of Parliament, both the minority and the majority side, and my colleague MPs who were there in these very difficult times, ministers of state who also made time to mourn with us. And I also wish to thank the Royal Majesty, Yana, forgive me, Yana Bukari, Yana, and our revered chiefs. I also wish to thank the Overlord of the Nanong and chiefs, our imams, my friends, and the rank and file of all the political parties, especially the National Democratic Congress. Their support, their show of concern, and everything that they did helped the family to endure this very difficult time. And it is our prayer that our mother and all our loved ones who have departed this earth will find rest in the bosom of our Maker. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannatul Firdaus. And today also happens to be the birthday of the Member of Parliament for Tamale South, my big brother, Haruna Idrisu. And he was a pillar, especially at the time that we performed this funeral. And he's always been. And I wish to take this opportunity to wish him a very, very happy birthday. And may God continue to guide and clear his path. And we pray that all his heart desires will be granted by the good Lord. Happy birthday to Honorable Haruna Idrisu. Now, Roland, I said I agree with you to a very large extent because some of the actions that the Electoral Commission has taken, especially under the leadership of Madam Jane Mensah, leaves much to be desired. And in this discussion, I would want us to focus on a couple of things. One, the illegality of what they are doing as far as this limited registration exercise is concerned. The arrogant ignorance and the possible attempt to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 general elections. I'll deal with the illegality first. Article 42 of our Constitution clearly stipulates that every Ghanaian 18 years and above and of sound mind is entitled, and the word here is entitled, has the right to be registered as a voter. It's a right. You are entitled to it. Now, Article 45E of the same Constitution gives the Electoral Commission that responsibility. It mandates the Electoral Commission. It's a duty that it is not supposed to shirk, to undertake activities that will expand the voter register and make it possible for any Ghanaian 18 years and above and of sound mind to be able to register. The Electoral Commission has its own CI 91, Regulation 22B, also gives a certain requirement for the setting up of registration centers. 22B. First, it says that a registration center should be suitable for use on election day. That's A. A registration center should be suitable for use on election day. And then most importantly, B says that it must be accessible. The place that is designated as a registration center should be accessible to the potential voter. Accessible to the potential voter. Now, the question to ask yourself is, are these regional offices suitable for use on election day? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know of any district office of the Electoral Commission that is, suitable for elections on election day. It is not a polling center. 2, are they accessible? Are they accessible? And see, I have said on other occasions that some of the problems we face in this country is due to the lack of geographical appreciation of decision makers in this country. There are a lot of people who are at decision making places or in decision making offices who lack basic understanding of the geography of Ghana. At best, they know Accra, they know Kumasi, and they know Cape Coast. And maybe sometimes they know Takoradi.
I think they know all.
The places, there's a difference between knowing of a place and knowing a place. They have not traveled this country. How many people have you met who will tell you that, oh, this is the first time I'm in BA. This is the first time I am in the North. This is the first time I am in the Volta. And yet, they are either managers, they are directors, they are occupying influential positions. And so because of this lack of understanding of the geography of this country, when they are making decisions, they are myopic. Their decisions are based on what they know. And so when they say Electoral Commission's office, district office, they are limiting their thinking to what pertains in Ashanti region. So where the district offices are, or in Greater Accra, where the district offices are accessible. Or in Central region, the district offices, they are accessible. But, Roland, and that is where the arrogant ignorance I spoke of comes in. Because you see, when you are ignorant and you are not arrogant about it, you can learn. You go to some districts, as we speak, for example, there are so many communities in Saboba that are cut off, completely cut off, because it is the rainy season. And that again is the reason why in the past, many of these exercises were never done in the rainy season. Completely cut off. Many communities, not only in the Saboba district, but many other communities, especially up north. Remember, the Bagri Dam will be spilled soon. Many communities will be cut off. Apart from the distance that people speak of, the inaccessible roads in some communities to access their district capital, where the Electoral Commission's district office may be, it can take them 2 days travel time. 2 days travel time. They will have to cross rivers and streams in their front plains here. I'm sure that Eric knows that because he's close to their front plains. He will know the difficulty that some communities will have to access the Electoral Commission's office to undertake this registration exercise. Now, is the Electoral Commission by this not denying people in these communities who are 18 and above and of a sound mind the opportunity and the right to get registered onto the register? Clearly they are. And that is illegal. That is unconstitutional. Because they are supposed to ensure that it is made accessible to these people. And access is not just about, availability. You can say that, oh, the Electoral Commission has a district office, it's available. But is it accessible to everybody? If you look at Greater Accra, you say, oh, it's accessible. Central region, you can say, oh, people can just drive there, right there.
There's no intent. The problem is that is there an intent?
Yes.
Between the actions of the executive and then actions of the independence of the Electoral Commission itself to create that.
I'll get there.
How does the executive come into this?
I'll get there, Roland. That's why I said.
That's why I asked the question. There's no intent.
That's why I'm saying that there's the illegal aspect of this exercise. There's the arrogant ignorance aspect of this, conversation, and there's the possible manipulation aspect of this exercise. So I'm saying that if you look at these district offices, clearly, if you have a basic understanding of the geography of this country, you will not say that all Electoral Commission district offices are accessible to the people. And that goes against, 22B, Regulation 22B of CI 91. And so, Roland, because these facts should not be lost on the entire leadership of the Electoral Commission, you will begin to wonder why then will they want to undertake this exercise in this manner? That's the question you will ask yourself, because it is so basic that they should know that limiting registration to the district offices will deny a lot of people from registering. And Roland, apart from the fact that this is a rainy season, many communities are cut out, apart from the distances that people have to travel to get to some district offices, you should also not forget that since 2020, we have not done a limited registration exercise. So you have a backlog of about 2 years. Now, in 2020, when we did limited registration exercise, we had limited registration exercise in 2019. And we did limited registration exercise in 2020.
No, it was a full registration.
Yeah, full registration.
It's a complete registration.
There was a limited registration exercise.
Before the main registration.
Yes, before the major. And at that time, we opened 1,500 polling centers. The same Electoral Commission opened 1,500 registration centers in 2020, when they did not have the backlog that we have now. So why on earth will the Electoral Commission, expecting to register more people rather this time, limit the registration centers or reduce it from 1,500 in 2020 to only 256. Why? Well, and that is where the answer to the question leads you to no other conclusion rather than an attempt to manipulate the exercise to favor, you know, one political party. Because in this case, it is not just the NDC that is making these claims. That is why the suit that has been filed in court has all these other political parties joining. And so you ask yourself what interest the Electoral Commission has when it comes to suppressing this registration exercise. And Eric was saying that he cannot understand how this will benefit any political party. Well, maybe you have not been reading the political, you know, data that much. Because clearly, every incumbent government suffers apathy.
Yeah, but then that doesn't mean that you would...
Can I come in? Can I
But
finish?
you asked me a question.
No. I didn't ask you a question.
Well,
I'm rather answering a question you left.
Please inform me.
You understand? Every incumbent government suffers apathy. And in this regard, sometimes, and because of the economic conditions that we face today, if you are able, for example, to ensure that in your strongholds, where perhaps the district offices are more accessible, people get registered.
Conjecture.
And then the other areas where it is not accessible, where you know that perhaps you will suffer, you know, your huge losses, people don't get to register. That is voter manipulation. That is voter suppression in the strongholds of your opponents.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be lost on you that there is something to gain if the Electoral Commission makes it impossible or difficult for people who otherwise would have voted against this government to get registered. And that, in my view, is what the Electoral Commission is engaged in. And so I wish the parties well, and I am disappointed that it seems like the judiciary is also already beginning to play games. And I've been saying this, I mean, there are some institutions that have been strategically placed, and if not dealt with, our elections, not only 2024, will continue to be compromised. Because how on earth will you go to the courts? You want to file a motion, and then they tell you that the Chief Justice is not in town, and so you can't have a date until the Chief Justice returns. And Eric was talking about digital era. I mean, the Chief Justice is not in town, and so your case you can't be given a date for hearing until the Chief Justice is in town. I mean, what is the interest?
Okay. Right.
The registrar of the court no longer has the right to give people dates for hearing.
Okay. Now, Mr. Janto, there are key issues, and then let's make a reference to, you go to section 30 of CI 91. Let's go to section 30 of CI 91. It will be on the screens very soon. And then we'll read that for you. It says that revision of the register. Now, 31 says the Commission shall supervise the registration of voters annually and may revise the register of voters for each electoral area within the period that the Commission shall determine. Now, 2, the process for registration as provided in these regulations apply with the necessary modification as the Commission shall direct for the revision of any register. That said, you go to also the injunction in terms of what the writ says. You go to 41. It says, it makes reference by those who send the issue to court that the chairperson of the respondent issued a statement stated publicly on the 10th of May 2023 on an earlier injunction, and this time in reference to the Dufour case when the NDC was having its internal elections, where we had the response of the Electoral Commission being that in order that we are not cited for contempt, the Commission has taken the decision not to supervise the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary elections until the determination of the case by the court. And this is being cited because this is an independent action of the independent body, the Electoral Commission, because there was a case filed in court and was in lieu taking a decision before the court makes that decision based on the determination of that case. If you take a look at that, there's a case in court, there's an action taken by the Electoral Commission with precedent, and this time it says that I'm waiting for the court or has taken no action at all. But we also do know that these are the actions that tend to raise questions about whether there is an intent or not of a specific independent body, and this time we're talking about the Electoral Commission. What do you make of this, Mr. Lawyer Jantua?
Good morning.
Morning.
Before I go there, let me ask you a question.
Please do.
The presidency, who guards the presidency?
Who got
in terms of the security services?
We have designated entity within the Ghana Armed Forces as well as the police.
The Ghana Armed Forces and the police. It's more the police than the Ghana Armed Forces.
I think I see more of the Ghana Armed Forces, and then I see some police as well.
Is the Electoral Commission a war zone?
No, we're not at war. But since 2017, we've seen that.
Why are
Since
they
Sedun Kete and Co took
Please,
cutlasses
please,
and machetes, they
please.
have had police people there.
Please.
That's untrue.
Please.
Sedun Kete and Co have never
That's
taken
the response, official response of government. So
I'm
we'll
sorry.
take it as
What do you
No,
mean?
but
I'm just saying.
Roland,
I'm
you
just
shouldn't
giving.
allow it to slide like it is true.
Have you forgotten when you guys took the Patakari and all of those things?
No, I said
and
that I
cudgels
took
and
cutlasses
everything?
where? Okay. No, don't let it slide, Roland, as if it is true. Let him withdraw
that's his opinion.
Opinion is not about facts.
Please go ahead, Jantua.
Some of these things, we let them slide. It's not fair. Where on the where has
I said Kete didn't take cutlasses.
Absolutely. So let it.
So please, Jantua, go ahead.
Why do we have soldiers guarding the Electoral Commission? Why do we have soldiers guarding the Electoral Commissioner? Who has explained it to Ghanaians? Is there a particular reason? Is the Electoral Commission a war zone? Is it a place people can't go? Is it not provocative and intimidatory to have soldiers there? And nobody says anything about it. It's quiet and it's silent. Why? The Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner, what really should she be doing? Is she not an individual who should be bringing people together? Without political parties, does the Electoral Commission stand?
Ideally.
So shouldn't she be the one who should make sure that she can jaw and bring people together? But no, there is a stance. Now, Roland, tell me, what's the reason why the Electoral Commission is sticking to this particular issue of having it in the district offices? Why? What reason have they given us?
Their independence.
Oh, their independence. They should give us a reason why. If political parties are saying, no, this is X, this is Y, so tell us why you still want to have it in the district offices. And that is where the conjecture comes that you're trying to do something untoward. Because you can't even explain to us why you want to hold the elections in the district office. Look, the registration. The crux of this particular issue, the principle of it is in Article 42 of the Constitution, where it states, every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above and of sound mind has the right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a vote for the purposes of public elections and referenda. What does that mean? No one Ghanaian can be disenfranchised. No one Ghanaian. So, if all the issues are being told, and yes, some of us, we've traveled the country because of politics. And sometimes even to get your party members to come to a central point.
It takes a lot of mobilization.
It takes a lot of mobilization and it takes a lot of planning.
That's true.
It takes a lot of planning to get your members to come. Because you know what happens? If you do not do that and you go to a constituency and you don't bring them, they castigate you. We are members of your party. You came to the constituency. You couldn't even be bothered to bring us in. So, when you now go to 45, Article 45C, it says, the Electoral Commission is to conduct and supervise all public elections and referenda. Are you trying to tell me that when it comes to elections, they are not going to set up election boxes and all this in those places? Are you trying to tell me? They'll tell them, come to the district office to vote. Is that what they'll tell them?
They will.
So what stops them from doing this one today? What stops them? What stops them? I don't understand why we should always have some kind of provocative issue with the Electoral Commissioner all the time. Why? Why are they there? What's the Electoral Commission there for? They are there to supervise elections, to make sure that the boundaries and all, that anything that has to do with national elections and even party elections, they are supposed to take control of it. So why are they being stubborn and hard-headed when a number of parties tell you, please, and we know our members, some of them won't be able to afford it, and by so doing, you are disenfranchising them.
Why do you think the chair of the Electoral Commission, Jean Adukwe Mensah, is doing that?
I don't know. I don't know, not unless she's taking instructions from her boss.
Who is the boss?
Who put her there?
You mean the president?
Who put her there?
Eric, please let people make their
you know,
comment.
but
Today you
this
came
morning
in,
you
you
guys-
are this. No, please.
No,
please.
no,
Eric,
but
Eric,
I mean,
Eric,
If you
Eric,
can't,
Eric,
if you
Eric,
can't
Eric,
give
please.
me
Eric,
a
please.
reason,
Allow Mr.
if you
Jaguar to
can't-
make his comment. No,
Yeah,
no,
but
please.
if
Today
you
you
can't-
become like you are interjecting. No,
if
like
you
you are usually
can't
a calm
give,
person.
listen, Eric, if you can't
But
give me
sometimes-
a,
No, no,
Eric,
Eric,
if you can't give me a reason why you want to hold the district registrations at your district offices, what then should I say? You can't give me a reason. So, Roland,
Yes, sir.
we get up from here. I see your wallet is taken from your pocket. Then I pull it. Then as I go out, you see me holding it. The first thing you ask me, oh, Mr. Jantua, why? And if I can't give you a reason why, will that not infuriate you?
It will.
Will it not make you annoyed? That, Mr. Jantua, you took my wallet from my pocket and you couldn't say anything. And I'm saying that the Electoral Commission is there for the people. They must be able to give us a reason why they want to hold this. And the political parties ask for an injunction. And because they are saying that the Chief Justice is not there, they cannot serve the Electoral Commission with the writ. They can't.
You think it's deliberate?
I don't know. I don't know, because I believe the Chief Justice, wherever the Chief Justice is going, there's somebody there who will take her place in case anything happens. So that's somebody there. I think this one is the registrars at the courts who can handle this thing. But if you say the Chief Justice signs these things, and Eric was talking about digitalization right now, isn't it easy to communicate? You can be in Afghanistan. Isn't it easy to communicate? You've got phones. You can even do conference call on WhatsApp. Can they not call her, oh, such and such has come. What should we do? Oh, okay, give it to this person to sign so that it's quick. No, be so. And I ask the question, all these institutions that are there, are they not there because of the people? Are they not there to make things easier for the people? So why is it that there are always infractions if there's no intent? If there's no intent to cause things that probably aren't even there. I don't understand it. Simple. There are Ghanaians who won't be able to make it because they don't have the wherewithal. So please, Electoral Commission, listen to us. Let's not have this in the district offices. Let's try possibles. Come back to us and tell us, we don't have X, we don't have Y, we don't have A, resources aren't available. So if you want us to do it, how do we do it? Tell us something. Have they been able to tell us anything? No. So definitely. Some of us will say there's an intent somewhere.
Yeah.
They are doing things to favor the ruling party. They are doing things because elections are coming. They are doing things because the economy is such that the ruling party, if you are not careful, they might not win the next election. But we have to make sure they win. We will say it. If you can't come and tell me why you're doing it. So, let's see.
Mr. Mwakuchum, you take a look or a reflection. According to Section 30 of CR 91, the Electoral Commission was expected or is expected to undertake these limited registration exercises. So after 2020, 2021, zilch. 2022, zilch. So ideally, we've created a backlog. And for the governing party, you sit aloof. Nothing concerns you.
No, but I mean, I think that you started off on this particular conversation, on this particular angle, where you're asking that even the government has instructed the Electoral Commission, and you're using the same angle again. And I'll say that there's absolutely no indication, and there's absolutely no motivation for government to be in cahoots with the Electoral Commission because of electoral purposes. And I'm saying that even what Suhuyini said about the fact that in your strongholds and everything, how do you determine that if there's limited registration and it's not done at the various polling centers like it's done, it is going to inure to the benefit of one party or the other? Or like Kwame is trying to suggest that because the Electoral Commission hasn't come out to indicate clearly why it's choosing this particular route of using the district offices, then he can sit here and conjecture or speculate that but he's saying that no. You see, we have to be very careful with some of these conversations, right? Because as we speak, this is not a platform for speculation and basically casting aspersions and creating all sorts of negative propaganda just against government.
Do you know why they're doing it?
Because
do you know why they're doing it?
Yeah, because they're doing registration
why.
For the district assembly elections apparently, right? That's what
they are doing registration and for people to have their names in the voters register.
To vote,
because people may register and decide not to vote in the
the point is that one, we have to also take it one by one. The elections in 2024 is that not the case? The Electoral Commission at every point in time during run up to any election would open up the register again for people to come and register. As far as I'm concerned, for the purposes of this is for these district assembly elections. Like I've said, like I even indicated earlier, so that I'm not sitting here trying to even become a spokesperson for the Electoral Commission. I don't intend to do that. I don't even want to do that. Is that for us as a democracy, we've even agreed that we have to do something called continuous registration. And that continuous registration means that if someone turns 18 today, they should be able to walk into the offices of the Electoral Commission or by any means that is available to them to get their names on the roll. Right? And for me, we can do all the politicking and do all the things that we want. If we do not get to a point where we are trusting each other enough and get to a system that will ensure that at every point in time, we don't even have to go into this whole idea of limited registration exercise because it's ridiculous. In terms of best practice, it doesn't happen anywhere. Right? That you turn 18, you're on the roll. Right? And we know that from time immemorial, we had challenges with data. And we've agreed as a country that we want to go through a system where we have a national identification card. Now, young kids that are born today would even be able to find themselves on a national ID system, and that you graduate all the way to 18, and then automatically, as time goes on, that becomes a basis for you to be able to go and cast it. That is where we are going. So yes, in times past, we've had issues, we've had challenges. It doesn't mean that we should stick to the old ways where it's giving us issues in the past because people are
Aren't
doing...
you conflicting the issues?
No, I'm not conflicting anything.
You're talking about the process of using...
I'm saying that. I'm not conflicting anything.
Card.
I'm saying that.
We're talking
we've
about...
gone through... Listen,
we're talking about the process of making it accessible.
I am saying
this same process of the digital platform.
I am saying that the EC has made a decision to go through this process using their offices. It has absolutely nothing to do with the MPP government.
No, you've made that point.
It has nothing to
Nobody's
do with that.
contesting
All I am saying as a citizen of this country is that, in my view, and like I even started from
So why
the
aren't they saying
onset,
anything
in my
about it?
view,
Why aren't they saying anything about
why
it?
is nobody saying anything?
Why isn't the MPP saying
I'm saying
about
something
it?
about it.
You?
Yes.
The powers that being called.
Yeah, but the party has a position. The party
what's the party's
has
position?
representation.
That's the official
That's the party's position is that the Electoral Commission should be allowed to do whatever constitutionally possible. That doesn't negate or stop the other political parties for using the judicial process to say if they are unhappy with the process. But I'm saying that as a Ghanaian, as a citizen, even the hats that I wear when it comes to this technology and all, I believe strongly that we need to get to a stage where we don't have to go through a limited registration exercise.
Eric, we haven't gotten to that stage yet.
Yeah,
So
but that is my view. That is my view, right? But there's no motivation from any contest in government to stop people from coming on the roll because it doesn't inure to anybody's benefit. Right? And so if we want to have a situation where, like you're saying, I even indicated that the Electoral Commission itself has a PR body. And those ones, when I said that, you ignored it. It has a PR directorate. They should be more engaged. They should be telling us the reasons why.
Are they?
But why are you now inviting me to talk about it? All I'm saying is that we do not have any motivation to be in cahoots with
the ruling party,
the Electoral Commission in terms of what they do. If there are issues, the political parties that have gone to court are Ghanaians. They have every right to go and go through the process. But we have to have a certain modicum of principle. You are talking about people who have no appreciation of geography in this country. I will use my constituency as an example. And the issues to do with gerrymandering and all of those. You see, sometimes when we are not careful, for us as political people, if you're not careful, we do this back and forth, and people call that equalization. Right? Let me tell you something. In my constituency, Fantiakwa South, you have to go through from Osino, you have to go through another constituency, Ebuakwa North, go through Fantiakwa North, to go to certain parts of my constituency.
And
right? I'm just giving you an example. So when you say that people have no appreciation of geography and all that, we know the kind of things that have been done in the past.
But even
in
here,
the name
you go
of
from Kanda, you go to 37, then you go to... I'm trying to...
But what I'm trying to say to you is that we have never had a perfect system.
Okay. Do you agree?
But for us as political...
Mr. Wakuchum, do you agree?
So for us as politicians...
Do you agree?
If we are minded by this democracy and we want to protect
do you agree?
Sometimes this whole conversation should be based on principle.
Do you agree that distance can create inaccess or a lack of access? Do you agree?
There's so many other circumstances. I can agree to that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. I can, even when it comes to assessing even maybe local government services and all of those things. That's why I use that example. That there's somebody in Hiamenchine or Abokobi or Abodobi who has to come through another district office to come to a district office in Osino. Right, and so if we are having these conversations, maybe we need to even go to the point of asking the Electoral Commission when it comes to even this whole demarcation of constituencies, and if it actually even makes sense. Then we can have that conversation. Myself and Sunyini and Kwame can have that conversation and say that you cannot have a situation where somebody has to traverse 3 or 4 constituencies to come to the same constituency. So even when it comes to issues to do with the number of constituencies that we have, the adding new constituencies, the number of voters, you have a certain situation where you have a voter population of 30,000. In other places, you have a voter
abandon the issues.
300,000. We can have that conversation.
Please, before Suhuni comes, quick one, please. A quick one.
I want you to keep it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Suhini, there's a key question that a friend sent me. He works with one of the CSO. He says that why are the parties who have gone to court not warming up to the idea that this could be the beginning of ensuring that we have a digital system of everybody graduating onto the voters register using the Ghana card? And so what if you can complement mobilization purposes of the various communities as political parties, including the ruling party. Nobody should have any problem. It means that you are one designated office at 37. Everybody from Medina, etc., should come and register, let's say, for example. But we know Northern Ghana is sparsely populated, and in many other areas also. Afram, please.
I don't really understand the
drift.
question. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't get the drift. But let me look at, you know, some of the issues that have been raised, especially by Eric. You see, voter suppression has a way of, you know,
manifesting,
impacting certain demographics in our society. And it is, you know, worldwide accepted that it can impact, for example, people with low income, and it can also impact people who are minority groups. And if you look at the operations of the Electoral Commission, especially since Jane Mensah was appointed, it is clear that she has been engaged in those tactics. That is why, for the longest time, the EC could not even undertake this limited registration exercise because the agenda was to use the Ghana card, knowing very well that majority of minority groups and people with low income did not have the Ghana card. So the intention was to exclude these people from being part of our voting or, you know, elections in this country.
It's also real that if we have a policy agenda, we can get everybody on the Ghana card, and we can use the Ghana card to be the right of choice to vote.
Absolutely. The NDC has never been against the possibility of using the Ghana card to vote in future. The NDC has never been against it. What the NDC has always consistently said is that let us get the registration exercise right. Registration of Ghana card right, and let's complete that exercise. Once we complete that exercise, where we are assured that over or about 90% of Ghanaians have the Ghana card, then you can begin to make it the only requirement to access the voters register. But at this stage, where the NIA is, you know, doesn't even know what it is doing in most cases, you don't make it the only requirement, especially when you deploy more machines, more registration centers to particular regions that are politically noted to vote in a certain way. I mean, it clearly tells you that there is a grand agenda. Now, Eric again says that there's no grand agenda. I mean, who appointed this electoral commissioner? And it's not just, that's what I haven't finished. And it's not just, I haven't finished. And it's not just about who appointed her, but how was she appointed? What happened? Let's not forget the context. Let's not forget the context of her appointment. Again, who is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces? Who decides who gets military escort? Even the speaker was denied military escort. The number 3 gentleman was denied military escort. We're all in this country. They were withdrawn. But who is the commander-in-chief and who determines who get military escorts?
Okay.
Is it not the president? Now, let us not also forget that the president has said that of all the things he has achieved, the one achievement that is still outstanding for him is to hand over to a new patriotic party government.
But that one, he's president. He'll say that.
Yes, he said that. That it is that of all the things he has done, one outstanding achievement he's determined to do is to hand over to a new patriotic party, you know, when he's handing over. And so when you see it walking like a duck and quacking like a duck, and you deny that it is a duck, then it's up to you. I am saying that clearly there is an attempt to manipulate our voter register. It started even during COVID, when we're all forced to ignore the risk and compile a new register.
Borders were closed.
As we speak, Roland, are you aware that IT specialists or IT officers, not specialists, IT officers have been recruited by the Electoral Commission? And these IT officers are going to be posted to every district from the center here in Accra. Are you aware?
What's wrong with that?
How has it come to a point where the local electoral, commission officers can no longer recruit IT people in their communities. I mean, the whole of Upper East region, they can't get someone with IT background. The whole of the Northern region, they can't get someone with IT to support the EC. The EC has to recruit, the EC headquarters is recruiting IT officers and posting them across the country for this particular exercise. What is that? What is that?
Somebody will ask
why that obsession to control this process the way that the Electoral Commission wants to control it? And that is why these other political parties are now also, waking up to the reality that this Electoral Commission, it's arrogant and is determined to pursue a certain agenda. Because when the NDC used to say it, it was as if, the NDC is fighting with the Electoral Commission. In this particular case, the parties will tell you that when they had that IPAC meeting, none of them agreed. Yeah. None of them agreed that the registration should be done at the district offices. Yet the Electoral Commission came out and issued a statement suggesting that the parties had agreed. It tells you that their minds are set on making sure that they manipulate this registration exercise, which will eventually benefit the incumbent, so that His Excellency the President will achieve his, last agenda.
Ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal of handing over to the New Patriotic Party when he is leaving office. But the people of Ghana will ensure that there is a change in 2024 so that he and his cronies will be held accountable for every penny, for every decision that they have taken in the last 8 years.
Mr. Janto, as you wrap up, is it that we're just throwing red herring, or there are genuine concerns regarding the actions of the Electoral Commission, and so that it gives people, including you, the minority parties, the concerns?
Let me use a message sent to me by
your good friend,
my learned friend, Sampi Yali. And he sends me the definition of accessible. And he says, refers to a site, I quote, facility, work environment, service, or program that is easy to approach, enter, operate, participate in, and or use safely and with dignity by a person. And the most important bit of this definition, by a person with a disability. Are you trying to tell me that in these areas where people might not be able to come, there won't be disabled people there? Will the disabled people be able to come to the districts? When you take the number of the quantum of distance, the distance of the area, will disabled people be able to do that? Will a blind man be able to do that? Will somebody who's a cripple be able to do that? Disability alone, with what the EC is trying to do, would disenfranchise them, wouldn't it? And I've told you, the crux of this particular principle is Article 42. You cannot disenfranchise anyone because they have the right and are entitled to be registered. So, the Electoral Commission should think again. Look, kata-kata has happened in countries because of Electoral Commission.
What is kata-kata?
Please, come now.
What is kata-kata?
Basa-basa.
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 That one you know, basa-basa.
That one you know.
Confusion, chaos.
Confusion, chaos. That is why I'm saying the Electoral Commissioner should act as a mother to the people of Ghana. And when they talk, she should listen. Say, okay, let's see how best. But most of all, I come back to it. Give us a reason.
Yeah.
Eric, give us a reason.
Especially when you
reason.
didn't have a backlog of 2 years, Roland.
Give us a
when
reason.
you didn't have a backlog of 2 years and you were doing limited registration exercise,
Right.
You were able to
opened
tell us.
1,500 centers.
Okay.
And now that you have
For
2 years backlog, you are opening only 256
Roland,
registration
you
centers.
quoted some
What is the
didn't
reason?
you? Where the Electoral Commission said what? Not until they've had the determination of those cases, they are not going to move.
There was a precedent, yes, just in the NDC primaries
Isn't it?
where they were supervised.
What's different?
So we are waiting.
Okay, so the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, very long-standing organization, is currently headed by Mr. Albert Kofi Ahin, a man I know so well, had been the director of elections, I have to say, of the Electoral Commission before. And in their statement, they said when it comes to the riverine areas and areas difficult to reach, like the Dwarf Island in Afram Place.
The riverine area.
Riverine.
Yes.
That's the pronunciation.
Yes.
Riverine area. Riverine areas. Thank you for the correction. English no be small. He continues by saying, that's Kodeo, I don't think the EC, and this time headed by Jean Mensah, expect voters to take a boat and come to a place like Donkor Krom to do the registration. As an experienced person, he continues by saying that the tradition has always been that the EC will make sure people who are to do the registration stay there for a week or so to do the registration and return. This is a concern. That said, one of the concerns has been that Alan has withdrawn, and that could have effects on the trust for the November election. How is the governing party managing that?
Well, I mean, the withdrawal was received by the party. The party has also issued a statement. And as far as we're concerned as a political party, it's well within the rights of any aspirant to, at any point or any stage in the process, decide to either continue or truncate the process. And so for me, or even, I mean, if you're taking a careful look, I don't think that it creates major challenges for the party at all. The process is still ongoing. By November 4th, God willing, we would have chosen our flag bearer. This whole conversation around withdrawal and the reasons that were adduced is where maybe as a political party we have a problem with. I mean, I think that certain reasons were given as a reason for the withdrawal. Now, based on the facts on the ground, it doesn't point to that. But for me, I've always maintained that we are a very competitive political party. And when it comes to processes like this, especially in an internal contest like we have in the New Patriotic Party, the stakes are always high. And when you lose an election, the emotions are also extremely raw. And for me, I feel that we need to give some time for this thing to simmer. I honestly believe that, cool heads would prevail. The party would emerge stronger. I also know that there are lessons that has to be learned from this thing. Now, it's also very clear and obvious that the vice president is going to win this election. It was, he had to be in a different planet not to appreciate the fact that this election was going to be won by the vice president. It's overwhelming endorsement.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I'm saying that the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, would win the primaries. Would be.
You mean it was already?
It's in the works. So you have to.
So that's why Alan resigned.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
So what are you saying?
I'm telling you that the man has withdrawn, and the party has taken that in good faith. We believe that the reasons that he adduced are probably not tenable. However, the party has also gone on to even say that some of the things that were said are going to be investigated. The disciplinary committee has been tasked to undertake that particular job. And I think that it will come out. And this party will emerge stronger. We've gone through even worse cycles in the past, and we've been able to emerge. But I'm saying that as we speak, the vice president is in the forefront and is in the pole position to win these primaries. Bring everybody on board. All the various aspirants and all the various supporters of other aspirants will come on board to prosecute an agenda to win 2024 so that we can continue with the developmental trajectory that we are on. That is, for me, is the key.
Okay. I can just give you 2 minutes on this. Since you are just an ex-official observer. 2 minutes, please. 120 seconds.
You know, Roland, my disappointment in Alan on this move is that he seemed to have learned nothing, especially he seemed not to have known that Nana Akufo-Addo forgets nothing that is politically important to him.
Oh, how?
I mean, clearly, he should have known the mafia that he was coming up against. His reaction suggests to me that he didn't anticipate what, he faced during the first round of the elections. And that, to me, is disappointing because a politician of his caliber should have anticipated even worse and prepared, especially with the opponent that he had in Nana Akufo-Addo. Look, Roland, I heard the president before the elections, as usual, contradict himself when he sought to say that he had no favorite in the race. Did you listen to him very well?
Yes, I did.
So did you hear him after, speaking eloquently about how he had no favorite? He ended up by criticizing those who were distancing themselves from his record. Did you listen to him? So you have no favorites, but you criticize those in the race who are distancing themselves from your record. And we all know that in the race, the only person who had no choice but to defend your record was your running mate. And so you criticize all those who had risen to distance themselves from your record, but you praise the person, or without even praising, but it is clear that that's your favorite. The one who is extolling your virtues and defending your record is your favorite. And so clearly, and the president has hijacked the NPP.
Oh, how?
He clearly has control. In fact, he hijacked the NPP even when President Kufuor was president. And anybody who doesn't know this, then has not been following our politics that well. He hijacked the NPP when he was not even president. And as president, he has entrenched his hold on the party. And so to upstage him, Alan should have been better prepared. And that, for me, is my disappointment, because Nana Akufo-Addo was not going to give it to him on a silver platter. And he should have known, especially because you faced him. And that same mafia was used against you in Lagos. I mean, when Afoko and others, an attack was staged to create the confusion that inured to the benefit of Nana Akufo-Addo. So I am really, really disappointed, because the leadership of the party is in the pocket of the president. And so Alan should have, anticipated the challenges that he is facing and appropriately, plan to overcome those, instead of just allowing those to kill his ambition of leading the new patriotic party. I'm not surprised at all.
Mr. Gentleman, someone will say that for opposition parties
with the leadership of the party,
ruling party problems. Just a minute.
Why? Are they not ruling the country? The decisions they take don't affect all of us. But let me tell you something. The president has checked out.
Oh, yes, he has.
He's checked out.
Yeah.
No, he'll be checking out.
I said he's checked out.
On January 7, 2025.
I said the president has checked out.
He says he's waiting for a new leader.
He said he's waiting for a new leader.
He's just enjoying the largesse until a new leader.
He's waiting for a new leader. Now, let me tell you.
Don't expect any.
For me, let me tell you the cracks. Let me tell you the cracks.
Unlike the previous leader who said, "I will fix it."
Let me tell you the cracks.
He says, "I'm waiting for a new leader."
Let me tell you the cracks of
These guys, they came from the same.
Alan's statement.
Before they got here.
Alan's, no,
Can I have a minute?
I haven't seen him in some time. He says in the statement, the question I keep asking myself is, how did we get here as a party in the first place? And how far are we prepared to tread on this dangerous path to self-destruction? Yes.
Yes. Roland.
And please, and I keep saying this, people don't listen, parties don't listen. Learn from the CPP. Learn from the CPP.
You build it around a personality.
Where we are today. Where we are today.
You let one person have too much control of your party.
All right, Master Planner Junior Kintampo says Honorable Suhuyini should rather be disappointed in Dr. Dufour when he withdrew from the NDC presidential race after the sabotage and mafia they did to him. Dr. Bawumia is winning the base. based on his strength and loyalty to the party. Master Planner Junior Kintampo. That said, we also have Triddles. Triddles says the Electoral Commission led by Jim Mensah should be very careful not to plunge the country into chaos. And then also we have some PL. He says, just check that Mr. Hiagba and Deputy General of or General Secretary of the MPPA are all from the Dankwa Institute. Okay, so he's insinuating that there is an agenda.
The party is in the man's pocket.
And then also I have Amoda Hamidu. Jim Mensah wants to cause katakata. As Lawyer Janto has said, for once we should listen to the plight of Ghanaians. Good morning. Roland, remind the EC that this was the same way they tried, and then there were gunshots in Tamale, meaning anything can happen when the pressure comes to EC offices when we don't have many of them. We have this one from Pukwasi Benghazi. MPP member Sialan's withdrawal from their presidential aspirant race has affected the party in a negative way. The question is, what did they do to him? And then we have more. We have this one from Chief Mante. Jim Mensah is not behaving like a woman. Okay, how do women behave? Motherly, okay.
Loving.
Musa Abatwaina Swanse. Today is Friday and it's a spiritual day for we the Muslim. I'm using this day to request for inflated. Okay, you said prayers for John Dramani Mahama. Now, I have a couple more. Ken from Medina says, even Greater Accra and Ashanti regions have problems. How much more those outside these areas? And
Mr. Jantua said something that is critical about the president checking out. You recall that when Dumso was at its peak, that was about the second year or so of President Mohammed's presidency. He didn't throw his hands in the air. He said, I will fix it. And he did by the time he left office. This president tells us that
the decision of the EC to do the voters registration
in this crisis.
To celebrate,
I mean, we are not angry enough as a people. We are too tolerant.
We're taking a break.
This abysmal failure.
We're tolerant for a break. We'll be right back.
Tolerant of this abysmal.
There's a passion that brings us together, but beyond the thrill of the game, we know why you play.
Hey, come on!
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gaming can be addictive. 5bet. Together, we play.
You'll ever taste.
Hi, baby.
Hi, Mom.
Hope you're having fun at Granny's.
Yeah, but Grandma doesn't have my favorite top chocolate spread. Hi, Mom. Mommy, please, I missed top chocolate spread on bread.
Tasty too. Made just for you and me. Choco, it's chocolate choco. It's chocolate choco. It's chocolate choco. Top choco. It's chocolate.
Surprise children!
Yay! It's chocolate choco.
Taste of chocolate. This advert is FDA approved.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic.